of the very few that Josh wasn't interested in. Anyone ever try to talk about professional sports with Josh? Don't bother. So our last speaker for the morning is a very close friend, Valerie Bernstein.
Well, we all know he was out of the ordinary in so many ways, and everybody has spoken so eloquently about him. He was a scientist, a teacher, a colleague, friend, Epicurean, great dresser. So I thought this was a good time for me to tell Josh's life story. So it was in Paris, 1993. After a sumptuous homemade meal of couscous, my friends Jane, who was here, and Paul, almost simultaneously said that their friend Josh and I would get on really well. And I was alone in that very romantic city, so I certainly was willing to meet Josh. So they sent me to Paul's refrigerator to see a photograph of him. And he was standing on a sidewalk with that Josh stance, looking a little bit lost. And I walked back into the living room and said, if you introduce me to him, I will fall in love. Well, they didn't introduce me. I asked about him again, and was told that he was taken and very happy, and tough luck. And they said that they had told Josh about me, and he told me that he would ask about me from time to time. And at one time they said I went to Los Angeles and was married, and we were never able to figure out the timing of this. It was very strange. I made a mistake of reading this to Paul, and she said, it wasn't like that. It didn't happen like that. It was lunch, not dinner. You went into the kitchen to fetch some water, and you saw the photo on the refrigerator, and you said, this guy is for me. Who is he? Of course, if I were to ask Jane, there would be another story, but I did ask Jane. And she said that Paul was right. But she added that the photo was not of Josh standing on the sidewalk. He was sitting on a couch. She showed me the photo, and I told her that's impossible because I would not have fallen in love with that guy. So, 2005, I was married. My husband had a long illness, and he passed away. And he had won an important music award that I was asked to accept for him in New York. So I called my friend Jane to ask if she was going to be in New York. She said that she wasn't, but she was going to have Josh take me out to dinner so I could finally meet him. So I remember his first email to me, which would be a surprise to no one. He sent me an email, we're going to ask him, what do you like to eat? And my response will not be a surprise to a lot of you. I said, I don't care as long as there's scotch. But I am a lover of food, and that was one of the reasons they thought that they would put us together, because neither one of them had met two people who love food as much as we did. So we met in the village in Anises, and it was January. He was a lumberjack of a man. He was wearing this Michelin Man type jacket, and it was really overwhelming. And we sat down and we started talking about examining every spice and sauce and little garnish and wine list. Every single wine we read, they were all by female vintners. And we talked about his work, my work, and a bunch of other things. And we just really didn't want to leave each other. It was great. And I left for Los Angeles the next day, and he emailed the girls and said that they could write. So emails, telephone calls, and a trip up the California coast, our bi-coastal relationship had begun. And we both remarked that we were happy it took 12 years to get together, because neither one of us wanted to miss our previous relationships. It wasn't one of those falling head over heels in love stories. We took baby steps. I was getting over a rough time, and Josh was Josh. And then there was the apartment. There were times I arrived and couldn't even find him. There were clothes, really clothes from his college days. know he had. Bills from decades, piled everywhere, scientific papers in kitchen drawers. And the cupboards, kitchen cupboards were empty because everything was on the counter and sticky. And the refrigerator, when you opened it, the neighbors would come up and beg us to close it. So every time I arrived from Los Angeles, this Jewish princess had to deal with the mess. I heard stories from Josh's women friends who tried cleaning when he was at the lab and he would come back and wasn't very happy. Then a wonderful thing happened. The ceiling of the bedroom collapsed. Josh was going to have it fixed, just the ceiling. And I just very gently said, maybe this is a good time to start making things a little bit nicer around here. So we redid the bedroom and eventually redid the whole place. And he said he was actually confessed that he was sick of looking like a college student. So it was great. We kind of made it our own, and he liked it. I liked it. And soon we got used to the absences with bicoastal relationship. There's a lot of absences. It's tough on a relationship. We got used to it. It became part of our lives. And then there were all those women. Dozens. He would talk about them with a little twinkle in his eye. So I assumed they had all been lovers. But there wouldn't have been any time for science, so. I learned who were and who were not, and who I should be jealous of. And this was a constant source of teasing. You can imagine how he teased me about that. And then all of the people, hundreds of people. Hundreds of people were important to him, as we can see. They were in the apartment. Sometimes they were piled up in the apartment. They were in Brewster, and he was annoyed that I couldn't remember everybody's name. But the result was, what was the result? He introduced me to a new way of being. It changed me. I became very, very social, and it was a very satisfying life. It continues to be. It's like this huge family now. And I think I introduced him to enjoying solitude, which he had a tough time with before. So we kind of grew into each other. And our love changed each other's lives. Not in a really dramatic way. We continued our life's journey the same way. But there was a feeling of comfort and peace that we had even when we were not together. And we had this wonderful respect for each other's work and happiness of each other's successes and happiness of each other's happiness. So it was very good. D.H. Lawrence wrote that there's an art to doing nothing. Josh was not that kind of an artist. We were always doing something, travel, unforgettable hikes all over the world, thrilling to nature and art together, gastronomic discoveries, time with friends, cooking, planning, talking. In December 2011, I moved in with Josh, and about a month before he died, he learned the art of doing nothing. He did it beautifully, without regret, finding enjoyment in this new life, as unbelievable as it might seem. But that was Josh. We did this nothing together and became closer than we had ever been, almost one. And then he left, but we all know, not